I think we should move on to the stuff we were saving for last, and that is our Shonen Jump discussions with Maxy. And I think we should, there was a recent poll that came out, from Goo, basically, having Goo readers, pick the next, poster series of Shonen Jump, that isn't One Piece.
Especially in the wake of all the series that ended last year, like, people are wondering, what is the next face of Shonen Jump now that, like, there's this new era on the horizon? And, in overwhelming numbers, people picked Haikyuu.
Yep, Haikyuu is number one at this list with 839 votes. Number two being Hunter x Hunter with about roughly half of the votes at 404. Number three being My Hero Academia with 317 votes. Number four being The Disastrous Life of Psyche K with 230, and World Trigger at number 5 with 226. Now, that's just the top 5, which I think that's a pretty good top 5.
Well, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not ranking like the popular. Well, it's not ranking like.
Well, I know. I meant those are some good choices, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird to think of Hunter x Hunter as the next poster child because it's been running as long as One Piece pretty much, and I mean, it's not. It's kind of like old blood, but it's also like just so inconsistent. So it's kind of hard to think of that one as a poster child.
Take it with a pinch of salt as well. When this poll, it had about 0.1% of Weekly Shonen Jump's regular readership submit answers for this. Like, there's a lot to take away from it. There are going to be little weird incongruences, and it is going to lean a bit more towards the older readers, which is probably why Hunter x Hunter had such a presence. And also, I know Colton will roll his eyes when I say this, but it's also probably why Black Clover's relatively low, because that's a series that's popular with the kid people.
Yeah. Look, I understand that.
Colton, don't go into this now. We're going to do an episode on it in a few months. Just have some patience.
Okay, fine. I'll shut up. I'll keep my mouth shut, but I have thoughts. Trust me, I have thoughts.
But I mean, there are other series there that have an appeal to young people that I think probably end up falling low. Like Hinamara Zumo, it's not a big performer, but the reason it's still in the magazine to this day is because it's popular with kids. So like, like that's it, number 10 in this list. But it's still, that's not a bad position to be in. It's not like it only received 27 votes. Like I can't believe Demon's Plan even got that many.
Well, I think they're ranking everything in Jump besides One Piece. So.
Well, that's the idea. That's essentially how it goes. With the expectation of will they become the poster. So the 29 people who thought to themselves, yeah, I can see Amalgama Distortion being the main comic in Shonen Jump. I don't understand you. But it's a really interesting poll. It really is. It's kind of great because you don't often get to see what people think of Isebai Monogatari. Yeah. So like any time you actually get to see an outside view that kind of reassures you, yeah, that's actually still quite a big deal. Like it's nice.
Yeah, I wish I had the chance to read it because it looks like it could be kind of funny.
I have the first volume of it, and like even with what limited language knowledge I have, I find myself laughing way more than I should.
Yeah, Leelord wants Viz to add that to Jump. Like, he's like, oh man, I wish they'd add Isebai Monogatari. They're totally gonna add Isebai Monogatari. Like, dude, they're not gonna add that ever.
Thing is, though, if they did, it would be easier. Like, there's not a ridiculous amount of language jokes as it goes, and it's a very small amount of pages each week. The only downside is no one would pay to read it. Like, they wouldn't get volumes out of it. Like, it's not traditional enough an action. Like, it's not an action series, obviously, but the main things that sell in Jump in the US are action series, which is what I was trying to say there.
I mean, maybe it could be bonus content on the free section, like Emperor and I. But...
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, which, again, it's nice that they're running Emperor. That still pleases me.
It surprises me that Promise Neverland and Kimetsu no Yaiba are so low, considering that in the rankings of Jump, that they seem to be doing pretty well, and in terms of sales, they also seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, Kimetsu no Yaiba's kind of jumped up. Like, I hate doing that thing where it's like, this is the new thing that used to be this. But Kimetsu no Yaiba, with its turnaround, is kind of the new Bleach.
Interesting.
Like, it's had a very similar trajectory, and that fills me with optimism. Although, again, it's nothing like Bleach. I'm talking purely how it's received.
It's more like
It's got swords.
It's more like a kind of a hybrid of, like, Claymore and Mushishi to me.
It's got a lot in common with the feel of Claymore. Like, it's not really like it, but it has that same sort of atmosphere.
The art kind of reminds me of Claymore a little bit, if it were a little more sketchy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I feel like it kind of has that same Mushishi vibe, except there's more action.
Oh, I've not even brought up the surprising one of this. Food Wars is pretty high.
It's high, but it's not in the top 5. So it's interesting because Food Wars kind of had a downswing last year in terms of popularity.
Yeah, it started significantly losing its reading audience, even though the anime's done fine. Like, it's been weird to see, because I can't really see a difference in quality to how it used to be, but, like, it does seem like a lot of Japanese fans have been falling off. So seeing it do well in this poll is reassuring.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I felt Food Wars was a little stagnant at parts, especially during the early phases of the exam last year. Whereas in 2015, it was on fire. Like, 2015, it was probably my favorite manga of 2015 because, like, beginning to end, that was just an incredible run. It started off with the conclusion of the Fall Classic, and it went right up to the climax of Soma's Shokugeki with Azon. Like, that was just an incredible year of things that happened. But then in the follow-up last year, like, what happened? Like, there was amazing character development for Erina. But outside of that, I guess Soma versus Hayama rematch was pretty okay. But there wasn't too much to be excited about in the series outside of those two things.
That seems fair.
I'm very surprised that Saiki Kusuo was so high up on the list. But then again, I don't really know what its following is like in Japan at all.
Older audiences love it, and like it can't be understated how big its start was. Like, it was originally just kind of like a bunch of small one-shots that became its own volume that did well. Like, it was put in the same breath as Assassination Classroom as something that was going to be huge, and for a gag manga, it is.
Like, from what I've seen of the anime, I think it's amazingly funny, honestly.
Yeah, the anime was very well received, actually. Like, at first, no one was talking about it, but, like, the score on MAL, like, quickly shot up, and I think it's, like, an 8.5 or something now, so it's, like, you know, it was really well received over here.
I had trouble with it. Did you guys watch the Simul dub?
Yeah.
I guess.
I watched a few episodes, and I thought it was fine. I didn't really have any, like, problems with it at all.
I'm not a sub versus dub guy at all. Like, I think it's one of the most petty arguments people can have about anime. But I really struggled with the voice actor choice for Saiki himself.
No, I love him.
The rest of it was fine, but he felt just slightly wrong. But that's probably just because I've had a different voice in my mind reading it for so long.
Maybe. It's like I like that voice. That's the same guy who did the voice of Jimmy in Detective Conan.
Ah. See, that's a connection. I'd think of that voice and think of Jimmy. I'd be like, yeah, that fits. And I think it's like, in my mind, I just imagine someone who's got a sort of monotone, completely devoid of expression voice. But that's probably not what people want to hear.
I mean, I think he did fine, but overall, I'm not a sub versus dub guy either, but generally, I prefer the acting in the original. But, you know, like, I'm surprised Funimation even picked that up, by the way, and I'm glad it's getting another season, because
yeah,
I really enjoy it. Like, you know, honestly, after Gintama eventually leaves from Jump, in my mind, Saiki Kusuo is probably going to be the one to carry that torch of being probably the funniest gag manga in Jump. Yeah,
I mean, I'm just glad that it got an anime and it was well received over here, because, like, it gave it more exposure and, you know, gave us more content of Saiki to experience, and legally too. So that was very nice.
Yeah. But do you guys find it funny that, well, not funny, but kind of interesting that the Boruto spinoff is ranked so high as well?
No, because Naruto's popular?
I guess, but...
I find it funny considering the skewed age you could probably find with a sort of poll. At the same time, like, I mean, even if you ignore it and know it's popular, like, the Boruto manga kind of has grown legs. Like, now it's got past that really awkward first few months. Like, it's not the most amazing series, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for it now that it's finally past the movie stuff. So now we can get original material.
It's too bad Straighten Up is ending. Because it ended up number 14 on the list, which it would have been kind of interesting. I don't think a dancing manga would ever really be like one of the more popular titles in Jump, because I just don't think. I mean, as good as it is or isn't, I don't know if it is. I haven't read it. I can't really pass any judgment on it, but I just feel like this is really the kind of manga that I'm not sure it would really carry a lot of weight in Jump. I'm picking all the.
You don't really get weird Jump series getting massive success anymore, and a dance series is pretty much the definition of that.
Yeah. I don't see it being the series where, like, when people think of Jump, they think, "Oh yeah, Straighten Up." But that's just me personally. I don't know. I think the list is pretty interesting. Lot of interesting choices on the list for what people think could be the next, like the biggest thing in Jump other than One Piece. I feel like I'm kind of surprised at Haikyuu, but at the same time I'm not, because I mean it's amazingly popular at the moment.
I mean, it is the second highest selling Jump title right now besides One Piece, so
yeah,
you know, it's extremely successful.
I still can't believe, like, in my mind, he's still like the weird author who did like an offbeat horror series for Jump. Like, just thinking like, oh yeah, like the most successful sports comic running in Jump right now. Like, that's crazy, really.
It really
also,
is.
You know, when he draws on camera, he wears a crazy hand. Have you ever seen that? Sod. It's like a Freddy Krueger hand. He wears it while he draws for like special videos.
Oh, wow, that sounds pretty out there. Okay, so I think we've had enough discussion about the poll. I think we want to get to the thing we were all looking forward to the most. Probably the biggest thing that happened to Jump at the moment right now, I think, would be the 6 new series that are coming to Jump over the next month or two. And I believe Maxy can confirm this, that this is the first time, I think, in Jump's history that they've ever, like, brought over this many new series all at once.
Yeah, like, this is historic in 2 ways, but we'll get to the other one later, but, like, they've never serialized 6 titles at once. Like, it's the sort of thing you could look at it and think that it's flailing because they've not really had a lot of success last year. Like, it was basically Promised Neverland, and it was... No, the Kimetsu no Yaiba, I guess, is coming up, but, like, it wasn't a huge amount. It was a small amount of series that achieved success. Especially when you look at the end of the year where it's literally been Promised Neverland and then cancelled, gonna be cancelled. Like, the second half of the year was a nightmare as far as it goes. So, like, it could be seen as flailing, but the talent involved with this, it really just seems like they're just pushing for a new era of Jump now that all of the ones that came out in the 2000s are over.
Yes.
Except for Gintama. But, you know, that's going to be March, isn't it? You know.
When Gintama ends? I don't think so.
I just keep throwing it out there to try and make people
tense. I know, stop it. Don't.
It's probably going to be the end of the year. It's going to end this year. I feel confident, but like not as soon as people keep saying.
I think it's going to end in a couple months because I feel like the anime is going to like end shortly after the manga ends. Like they've worked it out like that.
I feel like they'll want to sync it up because knowing them, they've probably lined up a joke about both things ending at the same time. Yeah. Like, that's the sort of way that anime works.
I thought they might have lined it up like that, because that's kind of how it ended up working with Classroom. Like, it started, the second season started shortly before the manga was about to end, and then it was able to cover the manga's ending.
Well, here, if we're talking about Gintama, I gotta get my thoughts out there real quick, because I kind of talked about this on Twitter a bit, but from what I have seen, it seems like this new season of Gintama that's airing right now, covering the Rakkyo arc in particular, the arc before the final arc, seems like this season might end up only being 12 episodes, because so far there are up to 4 DVD or Blu-ray releases listed at the moment, which that kind of thing usually indicates a one-core season. So
yeah, it could end up being split core.
It could, but I feel like they're not going to get to the final arc right away, at least not animated. I don't think they're going to get to it right after this arc ends, but
that's what I mean by it being.
But I think it's coming this year.
Make a break for a season or two.
Yeah. But also, I feel like, there's still the live-action movie coming out and everything, so I personally think that I feel like there's enough going on that I think they could make it last until July, but I feel like after the live-action movie comes out, it's really anyone's guess. But that's just my guess. I could be totally wrong. It could end tomorrow for all I know. I don't know.
Oh, God, yeah, who knows? They've not actually said which series are being cancelled other than Straighten Up yet, have they?
But enough Gintama talk. I have 2 avenues I could talk about Gintama on. But yeah, so Sid, you watched the live stream that the Shonen Jump guys had over on Viz side. So how? I guess we could talk about that a little bit. How was that?
It was pretty fun. They did these awesome fantasy segments where it was these crazy shenanigans around the office that went into weird random places, like Sekaki reading a line that he said in Bakuman, manga just needs to be good, and then at a meeting he flubs the line and says manga just needs to be food, and then the Viz executives are like, we should make edible manga, will that work? And then all the focus people are like, yeah. And it's really, really funny, bizarre sketches. That was my favorite part by far. I would legitimately watch a sketch comedy show, a workplace comedy show about the Shonen Jump crew. I would watch an office style comedy show about that because those sketches were great. Otherwise, the live stream is pretty fun. It's just a Shonen Jump podcast in video form. Good, just some really cool hijinks and visual gags they got in there. The big announcement was that they were doing, these 6 new jump starts, and that they for sure are going to pick up a few of these for regular serialization. They promised that for sure, but
it doesn't seem like they're going to pick up all of them, definitely.
I'm pretty sure they won't.
I could see them doing half just to actually get the magazine back up to size.
Yeah, there's 3 spots that were left open at the end of last year. From Toriko,
and let's be honest, there's 3 really likely candidates to get picked up out of this 6 as well.
So as 3, I'm expecting 3, and maybe 4 if Ruby really is ending. So we'll see.
But I guess, Sid, do you want to talk about the jump starts that are coming up then?
Yeah, so first up, that's launched this week, actually.
We Never Learn.
By Taishi Tsutsui, which is a romance series from the artist of the Nisekoi spin-off manga Magical Patricia Kosaki-chan, and also wrote spin-off manga for Steinscape. And this is about a student studying his college entrance exam, and he runs into 2 beautiful young women and gets in a love triangle. So, is this the new romance series that will replace Nisekoi? Who knows? But, I'm kind of interested in it. Next, we've got U19 by Yuji Kimura, who previously has only done one-shots in Jump, but it's an action series about boys who live under adult rules.
That sounds very vague.
Yeah, not too much to go on there.
From just the description, I can't help but feel it's trying to do some sort of dystopia thing, get into Promised Neverland's little niche.
See, I felt I don't know, what I imagine in my mind is maybe a delinquent manga set in a dystopian world. I think that would be pretty cool. That's also going to be premiering on February 13th.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to cut in here real quick and just to let you guys know that at the time we were recording this podcast, Sid and I were kind of basically going off some misinformed information about some of these series in terms of what their actually what their actual Japanese titles are romanized as and what they really mean in English, because when these series were first reported on, this series in particular by Hitsuji Kondaira, that will be premiering in the 12th issue of Weekly Shonen Jump on February 20th, was romanized as Robo no Ryu Gakuki, therefore roughly being translated to something such as a Robot's Study Abroad Chronicle. And we have since learned that that was a bit of a sort of a mistranslation, I guess, if you want to call it mistranslation, misromanization, something like that. I'm not using my terms right, but it seems that the actual romanized title for this series is actually Poro no Ryu Gakuki. So not Robo, but Poro, which in this case would roughly translate to Poro's Study Abroad Chronicle. But it seems that for now, and I say for now because Viz makes a note that the English titles for these series are not final and are subject to change. It seems that they are bringing this series over in English, entitled Demon Prince Poro's Diaries. So instead of the information that was out there earlier in the week where this series seemed to, again, based on the misinformed title that it would be about a robot coming from the underworld to the human world, the key visual here kind of gives it away too, because he looks like a demon prince. It seems that it will be about a demon prince coming from the underworld to the human world, which makes a lot more sense. I mean, you never know. He could also be a robot too. I don't know. But again, just wanted to clear up some misinformation there because I'm probably going to cut it out of the show. But Maxy was nice enough to inform us later, I think after the show, that that we were kind of going off some old misinformed information. I don't know if that makes sense, but just wanted to put it out there, make sure we reported that right. But I guess enjoy the three of us speculating on a series based on some good old misinformation. That'll be fun to listen to. Now back to the show.
That one's kind of.
I mean, it's a. Sorry. Go ahead.
It seems it's very strange because the premise seems a lot like Spring Weapon #1, which just came out. So
it's also funny because it takes the robot half from Spring Weapon #1. It takes the come up from the underworld to the human world thing from another series that's very similar to both of these, called Taizo Mote King Saga, that came out in 2006.
Oh, I thought you were going to say...
Which was about, like...
I thought you were going to say Devilly Man.
Oh, I literally can't remember anything from Devilly Man at all.
You don't remember Devilly Man? I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Did it get run as a jump start?
It did.
Or did they skip it?
Yeah. They ran it.
Yeah, so why can't I remember it?
I mean, I guess that's neither here nor there.
It was... no, I remember it. That was a series that I didn't like because it felt like it was trying to rip off a lot of stuff from Taizo Mote King Saga. Because it's a popular sort of thing, this whole coming up from the underworld to the human world, or coming from a world to another world as a sort of displaced person. Maybe they're a bit perverse sort of thing.
Hell, that's the premise of Nero.
Yeah, but none of them can match Taizo Mote King Saga because none of these people are coming to the human world to try and find a girl with star-shaped nipples. That was the high point. And I know you're going to ask, so I'm throwing it out there. Yes, Jeline Kujo was a character in this series.
What?
Like, literally, it's 100% her. One of the cool things about this author, Armand Dai, is that he got to go and write and draw a short little omake in one of his volumes that was literally like, I got to meet Hirohiko Araki. I probably weirded him out. And that was like the whole story.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Oh man, like you guys would love it. It's never coming out in English through any means, legal or otherwise. But it's good.
Well, those are the best kind of manga.
And next up, we have Marie the Hungry by Ruhei Tamura, which is going to debut on February 27th on the 13th issue. It's from the creator of Beelzebub, and it's going to be a battle romantic comedy series about a boy named Taiga and a girl who lives next door to Taiga, who I presume is going to be named Marie, who has a secret.
That sounds like something Tamura would write.
Sounds like Double Arts in a way.
I couldn't help the feeling that it's like gonna be that same sort of feel as Beelzebub. Possibly because I had to double check Tiger wasn't a character from Beelzebub, like it's that sort of name. But like it's the art preview that's shown as well, like it feels very on point, as well as being, it's a battle romantic comedy. That's only a small turn away from the battle gag manga that was Beelzebub. Like it's what Tamara's good at, but like I'm so intrigued by like how much it resembles their previous work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember reading all of Beelzebub, and like overall, I thought it was fine. Like my problem with Beelzebub is I thought it was a lot better at being funny than it was trying to be an action story, especially near the end, because obviously I think we can all agree that I think the last arc or so, especially the very end of Beelzebub, might have been a bit rushed. I feel very presumptuous saying that, but I don't know. I felt like it was kind of obvious.
Oh no, it was having like a fall in popularity at the time. I feel like that's a fair guess. At the same time, like I really liked Beelzebub. It helped that like I knew several people online who I talked to regularly who were like massive fans of Beelzebub and like sold me on some of the aspects I wasn't sure of. But like it felt like a 90s throwback whilst still reading better than that would be.
I never read Beelzebub because my friends at Amber's Revelation didn't like it, but they don't like a lot of things, so maybe I should check it out sometime.
Sounds like my friends too.
Everyone needs to be like me and just like everything a little bit. Except, well, I say I like everything a little bit. I do slag off a lot of things whenever I appear on this, don't I? I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay, Maxy. You can hate or dislike things. I do that all the time. So
yeah,
it's all you do.
Only
when
I read Black Clover.
It's a Black Clover fan in me. We know.
Okay, but Sid, please read off this next one, because I am probably the most interested in this one, and I think when you read it off, most people will understand why.
Yeah, the next one is Dr. Stone by Boichi and written by Riichiro Inagaki of iShield 21 fame. He was the writer of iShield 21. And it's going to be a science fiction adventure series that follows what happens when the world's biggest ever crisis arrives. And it'll come out on the 14th issue on March 6th. And, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see more work from Inagaki, because I legitimately love a lot of the character writing in iShield 21. Like, I thought the characters were probably the strongest part of iShield 21, aside from Yusuke Murata's pretty much godlike art.
But he had to grow to get to the point where his art was godlike. Like those first few volumes, he was still like, he was an amateur. He learned drawing that series. That's not me calling them bad. Don't get me wrong. That is.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's like Slam Dunk. It's a series where the artist just grows an insane amount throughout the entire run. Like I can't believe how far he came. I know,
and I totally agree with that. His art, compared to his later stuff, is not as good, but I still enjoy his style even very early on.
It's good throughout. Like, it's just a different sort of good as it goes. Also, like, I've got to say this for Dr. Stone. So this is cool for a couple of reasons. One, Boichi's already been doing interviews talking about this, but like, they're taking on a second serialization. They've been doing another one over in another magazine for a different company. And like, it's for an artist who renders stuff as heavily as Boichi does, like, that's quite notable to be like, oh yeah, I can keep up with this pace, and like neither of them are limited series, they're ongoing. But also, Boichi's the first non-Japanese artist to work for Shonen Jump. Ever.
Wow.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know this.
Yeah, like that's... Like, never mind the 6 series thing. This is a South Korean breaking into a magazine that has been so, not opposed to, but just never seen the need to serialize an artist who's not from Japan.
Wow, that's...
And like, and they picked the best one for it. Like, Boichi's phenomenal at this point. But, like, that makes this serialization round... This is going to be one for, like, the history books as far as Weekly Shonen Jump goes.
Wow. Yeah, it is worth noting that Boichi is, I believe, the illustrator of Sun Ken Rock, which you can read on Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's well worth the read. They also did a spin-off of the Young Jump series Terraformers. They did Asimov, but I don't know how well that did, and I've seen nothing from it. I'm bad at keeping up with the million spin-offs that Terraformers gets.
Yeah, so this one in particular, I mean, again, the premise so far of what we know of it sounds pretty vague, but like they got a good duo behind this, because from the little I've seen of Sun Ken Rock, I think the art looks gorgeous, and again, like Inagaki, you know, him being basically the guy behind iShield 21, like there's no way I can't give this a shot. There's no way I'm not going to, and this is the one I want them to pick up. Assuming it's good. Have
you guys seen the teaser visual that came out for... I mean, obviously they've all had the teaser visual come out, but the one for Dr. Stone in particular is fantastic. Like, it's got a pig on a skewer, like sort of giant food, which is very Shonen Jump, and like an ignited poison bowl. It's so over the top that I'm stoked just seeing it.
Yeah, this is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. I don't know. What about you, Sid?
Well, I mean, having only had a limited experience with iShield 21, and the premise is not having the premise isn't like too fleshed out. Like, it's something like I'm interested in, but I'm not like super excited about. Actually, the one that I'm actually most looking forward to and really interested in is Robot X Laser Beam by Kadoshi Fujimaki of Kuroko's basketball fame.
I don't think you have to say the X.
Yeah, it's probably a Hunter x Hunter thing, so it's probably just pronounced Robot Laser Beam. Yeah, that's coming out on the 16th issue on March 18th, and it's a high school golfing manga that's about a boy whose nickname is Robot, who encounters Yelp for the first time. And I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this ever since Fujimaki first mentioned that he wanted to do a golfing manga next after Kuroko's basketball. So I've been looking forward to seeing when is Fujimaki going to make that golfing manga? And yeah, now it's finally here. He's making the golfing manga. And I think that I really like the character design for Robot. He looks really interesting. And also I think that this series could turn out to be this really fun, crazy sports series, that it takes kind of the ridiculous elements of Kuroko, but it plays them for comedic extremes. But it's also really interesting to me because, it's the first golfing manga that's been in Jump since, at least I think it's the first one since Rising Impact.
It absolutely is.
And, as someone who has spent a lot of his summers playing golf, I've been looking forward to reading a golfing manga and a golfing manga and Jump, and from Fujimaki, I think it could turn out really great. So yeah, this is the one I'm actually looking forward to the most, because it has it seems to have all the right elements in place to be something that I could really get into.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one too, even though I haven't read enough Kuroko's basketball to become excited. So I'm on the opposite spectrum here, like Sid was with the last one, but I'll definitely give it a chance. I like it. It's definitely one of the more unique titles that seem to be coming out of these 6 new Jump series.
Robot Laserbeam easily has the best look. Like, I mean, I'm not hot on whenever a series just has like the sort of dark-haired kid in a school uniform with glasses doing stuff, and it's stupid that just seeing red hair on Robot makes me like, yeah, this will be different. But like, it's a stronger design for it because it pops out as an unusual thing, like red hair being such an anomaly to Japan.
Yeah, that's fair. I personally think what they're going to do in terms of picking these up for the Viz Jump is they're probably going to go with the latter half of these new series, basically the ones that are all being done by people with other previous pretty famous works.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too. I mean, I haven't read it yet, but a part of me is pulling for the romantic comedy, the romance one, just because I do want to see a new romance series in the English Jump. But
I feel like out of the first 3 that, again, not having read anything and just being very speculative, I think maybe that one probably has the best chance of being picked up out of those first 3.
Yeah, but it all depends on space and reception, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a great creator. Like, Magical Patissier Kasaki-chan was pretty good as far as, like, Jump Plus spin-offs went. Like, it was funny and well drawn. And, like, going from the key visual, it looks nice. Like, the only one of these that actually looks visually unpleasant by, like, the key visuals I put out is Under 19, which looks just a little too typical, I guess. Like, it makes me think of stuff like Demon's Plan and Amalgam of Distortion and that. Like, I wouldn't write off any of them being picked up by Viz. You know, they pay attention to their polls. It's not always about how well they're received in Japan, although you can bet they'll be watching those first 3 series with whatever information they get before then.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, for all we know, the Robot Laserbeam manga from Fujimaki might not get picked up at all. We never know.
Yeah, like, I feel like the one I would actually put money down on that it's getting in regardless is Dr. Stone. Like, I can't see them not picking it up. The one I want the most is Robot Laserbeam.
Yeah, I think Robot Laserbeam has a decent chance because Kuroko is pretty popular and successful over years, so...
Yeah, well, I don't know how do you know how the 2-in-1 volumes have been selling? Like, did they ever turn up in any of the sales charts over the weeks?
I don't remember them appearing on that New York Times list, but they seem to be doing pretty well, just based on, like, them talking about them. So, I think it might not be selling as well as Haikyuu, but I think it's doing decently.
Yeah, I'd like to feel optimistic about it.
I mean, to be fair, Viz was really advertising the hell out of Haikyuu a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming out every month. They have to if they want people to be buying it. Like,
yeah.
It's a big push. Which, again, makes me feel sure that they're going to pick that up at some point this year.
Let's see.
Like, that's a really accelerated release schedule.
I'm honestly surprised that they haven't put it in Jump already, but, you know, it's also a matter of space and, you know, of course, like, workload for, like, certain people. Like, again...
Oh, yeah, like, whoever's translating Haikyuu right now has had to do it much faster than most of the Shonen Jump label volumes come out. So, like, I couldn't blame them for, A, wanting to keep a unified translation, like, have it be the same person, but also to not expect them to do a weekly chapter as well as a monthly book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they really only have so many people, I think, working on stuff for the Viz Jump anyway, right?
Yeah, it's not a huge team at all. Like, for the undertaking they're doing, it's a lot lower than you'd expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this will be a good round of jump starts. I'm really looking forward to these, and I think by the time we record our next episode, we should probably talk about that very first one that comes out, because I just realized, like Sid said, by the time this episode is out, people have already read We Never Learn, so we might as well also talk about the first chapter of that on the next episode.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing how these new jump starts turn out. I think this is pretty exciting time. So we get an incredible batch of fresh blood and returning talent coming in, and there's some exciting things on the horizon, I think.
Maxy, how do you feel being our resident Shonen Jump enthusiast?
I think as it goes, I never feel super confident there'll be more than one success out of a round, but this round's so big and it has so much going on. Like, I could see this actually kind of upending Jump in a lot of ways. Like, there's every possibility that, like, this could have enough successes in it. I mean, if 5 of these do well, that would be unheard of. But if you had, heck, even 4, if even 4 did well, like, that could wipe out so many, like, middling to low popularity series. Like, that would be it for them, and it would kind of... This is a chance to reform Jump as a very different magazine, which is mental, really. Like, they've never done this before. I can't even begin to imagine what the outcome's going to be. There is every possibility all 6 will do terrible and be cancelled, but I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I feel like that's the like, as far as extremes go, that's the pretty worst case scenario. But I don't think that'll happen.
I mean, I can't imagine a world where Dr. Stone or Robot Laser Beam does bad either side of the world. Like, they have the team behind them super strong. If those comics have the quality you expect from them, then they could just be brand new hits.
Yeah.
The others, I'm ready to be surprised, even by under 19, but I'm not expecting much. You know, high hopes, low expectations.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see, but I guess this also means, just one last thing before we go, I guess this also means we're gonna say goodbye to series like Demon's Plan and Amalgam of Distortion and oh god, I'm forgetting a few of the other ones.
Ole Galazzo's almost definitely gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was really hoping that would kind of stay, because that, like, I really like the style of that comic a lot.
It had a really strong start. I think, by all accounts of what I'm hearing from other people, it's not really managed to do much with that beginning. Like, it's got in that sort of weird trap of doing smaller, not full team games and, like, little asides and stuff, instead of actually, you know, getting to some matches and doing some exciting sports stuff, which is probably why it's dying. But, like, you know, that it started off real strong. It was nice. It's weird because World Trigger's on hiatus and Spring Weapon #1's got on a colour page. Like, I'm struggling to think of more than 4 series that could be ending. Like, it's literally, to me, it's been Straighten Up and Nose Free.
There's also this rumor, like, I don't really know the source of this rumor, but it's been a rumor that's circulating that World Trigger might move to Jump Square. So, you know, that might open up more space in Jump. And that might work out better for Ashihara in terms of workload. And
maybe they put a lot of polish into that work, and, like, it's clearly done them damage on a weekly schedule. At the same time, like, there's always that fear when something moves to Square. I feel like I'm holding my breath and waiting to hear that it's moved to Square Crown, because they can't even keep up that pace. Like, it seems to be where artists who struggle just have to go and get worse, you know? But, I mean, let's hope that's not the case.
Well, as long as it works out well for Ashihara and we still get it in our English Jump, I mean, I couldn't complain about him moving to Jump Square.
Even without that, there's every chance that it could just go the Boruto route and become a monthly serial in Shonen Jump. Like,
that's true.
That set a pretty good standard for, like, that can work. And never mind how many series in, like, Shonen Sunday and the like have been playing with that sort of format. Like, there's all sorts of things World Trigger could do on its return.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think Jump back in the day did have, like, some manga that didn't run weekly, but it just came back every now and again. Like, I think Saint Seiya was one of those titles where it didn't run weekly, but, like, it had a chapter every now and again. Because, you know, those chapters...
Although, I don't think that was deliberate, though.
Maybe, but those chapter lengths, they're pretty big, so...
I think Level E had that.
Yeah.
The Yoshihiro Takashi series, like, it was just kind of published and, like, in bits and spurts until he was done with it.
Hibaru-kun too, right? That was That was a short series, but it was published over 2 years.
That was definitely not intentional. Hisashi Iguchi kept having frustrations with the weekly publishing schedule, refused to push themselves further, and eventually just kind of decided to stop and went screw it all, which is a shame because it was incredibly popular, and kind of means that a lot of fans have a lot of bad blood towards Iguchi. To say nothing of when the Kanzenban editions came out, and it's I'll probably draw an ending to the series, and the final volume just has a written note that's I didn't want to draw the end of the series.
Oh wow. Wow. That's frustrating.
Yeah, no, it's a hard life being a fan of Hisashi Iguchi because he's an arsehole within reasonable terms, because it's usually just he doesn't want to do stuff because he has the ability to relax. He's what everyone says Togashi is. But instead of Dragon Quest, it's that he likes just doodling fashion stuff instead.
I think he said recently that Togashi picked up his habit of taking hiatuses from him. So. Yeah.
Which is a cruel, cruel burn.
Yeesh. I think that's about it for our Jump Talk, right? Unless there's anything else we want to discuss.
Well, did we just generally want to talk about what we speculate is in the future for Jump? Because it is going through a huge transitional period right now.
In terms of the Viz Jump or Weekly Shonen Jump?
Both, really.
Okay. Yeah, as far as the Viz Jump goes, I mean, I can't really say for sure. I really hope that they fill in their, obviously, I hope they fill in their gaps with new series I'll be able to, that I will want to read weekly. And then, I kind of wish they would do more one-shots. I kind of hope they do more of those, at least when they have, magazine breaks due to Japanese holidays and whatnot. Other than that, I'm not really sure what else they could do to improve their format, at least not at the moment. And as far as Weekly Shonen Jump goes, the original Weekly Shonen Jump, I couldn't tell you. All I could say is it's definitely going to be weird when Gintama's gone, because I'm sure we've said on the podcast before, with Gintama gone, the two oldest series in the magazine will be One Piece and Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter isn't around enough.
Yeah, so, man, I honestly couldn't tell you.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, but I feel like this is them having learnt lessons from the mid-90s. They're future-proofing here. They're preparing for the fact that, not having Gintama, that could be a loss of readers. They did lose an amount of readers when several other series have ended over the last few years, particularly Naruto. But, it wasn't enough to really, I think, have the need to build it back up. At the same time, I think dropping circulation levels in general across the board with manga magazines is pushing them this direction, which is great. 6 serials all look good. It's fine, except for Under 19. Looks bad. That was my entire thought process there. Oh, hold on. Prediction for Viz Media's Shonen Jump. This is probably the safest prediction in the world. They're going to be running the new Rurouni Kenshin series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's no way they're not going to.
People receive those one-shots really well.
Yeah.
Considering that Restoration was a bit of a... it wasn't bad by any means, but people weren't really that into it compared to the original.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of... And a lot of the Viz staff are huge fans of Kenshin. I mean, Sasaki Hisashi, he was the editor of Kenshin, so, I think there's going to be huge interest in, publishing the new arc in Jump.
Which, by the way, just to kind of put it out there, because I did recently just read those 2 prologue chapters, I'm so ready for more Kenshin.
Yeah.
I was really afraid that I wasn't going to like it because from the little I had read of Restoration, I just wasn't that interested at all. And even the Shishio backstory, granted, my memory of the series at that point was pretty fuzzy, so I probably would have liked it more if I read it, after rereading the Kyoto arc a little more fresh. So I'm probably going to give that another chance because I wasn't I thought it was interesting, but it didn't really like grab me personally. Again, that deserves a reread, but
yeah, this new prelude though, I don't know like how you find it, but it feels like it could literally have come out the week after Rurouni Kenshin ended, and it would fit.
Yeah.
Like I am ready for this Hokkaido arc. I'm really liking the ideas behind it. I like this direction that it could be going. I especially like that this isn't just a story that takes place in like the universe of Kenshin and it's just kind of tangentially related. Like I like that Kenshin is probably going to be involved somehow, hopefully, or at least, the actual characters from the original Rurouni Kenshin are going to be involved somehow. If those last 2 pages or so are any indication. So I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. I think that overall, back a couple of months when we originally had this discussion in that long lost episode, it was very uncertain like where Jump would go from here. But now with all this new series coming out, and I think that actually the future of Jump seems pretty secure because there's a lot of returning talent. There's also new blood coming in. Like there's still turnover and there's still some stuff that aren't like hitting it, but it seems like they're making a real effort and push to get new talent and returning talent back in there and like to see like what sticks and like experiment a little with like what kind of ideas people are interested in. So I think actually we're going to see a lot of cool new experiments in Jump and like some cool new series in Jump too. So, I think that actually going forward we're going to see a new Jump, but it'll be a really cool like new era that we're entering into. As far as the Viz Jump goes, definitely like it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to pick up 3 to 4 new series out of this batch, and hopefully some of those stick around and. We'll get some great content out of Jump this year, like we already do. But we'll get back up to form after like the mass exodus that happened last year. As far as some other things go, I have no basis for this, but I wonder if the Boruto manga might end up switching to a weekly or bi-weekly schedule at some point, just because with the new anime that's going to be coming out soon, I feel like they might want to have more story content, and there's probably been a little more time to prepare like that a new story stuff now that they've had a year to like work to just focus on redoing the old like movie stuff, and now they can like really head forward in with new material, but I don't really know if they'll actually do that. But it's just an idea. And we might see World Trigger go to Jump Square or become monthly, but that all depends. That's also just a rumor. But either way, I do think that we will see Ashihara return at some point. And I think, there'll be good stuff just in general for every series that's already running this year. I think Promised Neverland will continue to pick up steam, and I'm looking forward to seeing like where that goes in particular, because that's definitely become like it's basically consistently my favorite manga every week to read.
It's been very good lately.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's kind of coming to a head.
Yeah, I mean, things are really, really building up right now and like major things are going to be happening soon with the escape, like very approaching on the horizon, and all these like all the stuff that is being put into motion. So like it's really picking up as usual. Like there's never like a dull moment in that series. But yeah, just in general, I think Jump is pretty great right now, and I think that it'll continue to be great with all this new content that's coming.
I do see like some people online who have opinions on this move and call it like a desperate move on Jump's part, them trying to find like the biggest new thing or whatever, which
I don't know what's so desperate about trying out new series. Like it's not really any different from like what they usually do. It's just more new series this time because there's a lot of slots to fill.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but I'm also of two minds of this. Like, I can kind of see why they would say that, but like, I also personally think that I think this will just end up being a good thing. It's like you said, I don't see anything wrong with them wanting to fill the slots that are now empty. Especially like with World Trigger gone at the moment, Gintama probably going to be ending this year, most likely, and and some of these newer series that probably aren't doing very well that they probably want to get out the door, unfortunately for them. But yeah, I don't know. I see this as more of a positive thing, and I just see it as a move that makes sense. It's not just Jump being like, oh no, we're in trouble. We got to find the next new big thing right now, quick, right now.
Yeah, most definitely.
It almost feels more confident than if they were just serializing one series. Especially considering how historically, whenever they only do one series by itself, it tends to flop. 6 feels like a much more confident effort, like they're going, you will like one of these.
Yeah,